Sean now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. Elway can run. Inside the 10. Head first. He flies off the 5-yard line. My goodness.
Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground and still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
Manning out of the gun. Manning lets it fly. It's caught by Thomas. There's the record for Peyton Manning.
The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stiff arm got him free to the 30, to the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime.
And welcome to the 5280 podcast on the MHRT Network. My name is Mundungus Creevy, as always, alongside my co-host Glenn, Bree, Kim, and Mr. Boggins. We are a fan-led Broncos-based podcast bringing you all of our insight and opinions on our favorite team, the Denver Broncos. Now, we believe that we will be joined by Montrell Washington. He's a very busy man, so when he jumps in, we will go ahead and add him in here. But until that moment happens, we have had the schedule released within the last few days. How are you guys thinking about how the schedule is playing out for the Broncos?
Bree put it best. I believe she said, that we're going to go maybe best case scenario 13-4. I believe, and I mean, aside from like the best case scenario, which is, obviously going 17-0, right? I mean, that's the goal.
I mean, we can be realistic here, but I think what we're going to see is somewhere around 11-6. I can't seem to get them over that hump, and that seems to be the most popular number being thrown around. But 13-4 is looking quite tasty. 15-2, you could almost kind of see where if things really swing the Broncos' way, we could even be looking at 15 wins, 2 losses. I think the Broncos could pretty much potentially sweep the Raiders in the AFC West. I think a lot of what they've done is a bit of a smoke show. But what I'm really excited for is seeing how quickly out of the gates with 2 easy kind of floated in their games. And maybe I'm overcompensating here just a little bit because I know there's going to be some contention that first game, but I'm really excited to see how they start. And that's really going to let us know that first half of the schedule is looking really nice. That second half of the schedule is looking like quite the gauntlet.
Especially those last 6 games. The thing that I'm excited about is the primetime appearances. We had one scheduled last year. We flexed into a second one. But the fact is we're on primetime 4 out of the first 6 weeks, a total of 5 primetime games as it stands right now. Also a Christmas Day game and a London game. So the NFL certainly sees big things for this Broncos team. And I couldn't be more excited.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fair.
I personally love this schedule. I think it's kind of perfect as far as starting out early with mainly a pretty easy schedule, getting the Seahawk game out of the way, especially for a new coach, a new quarterback, really getting your legs underneath you essentially that first half of the season. With a couple little challenges sprinkled in there, and then you go to London, then the bye, and then on to some tough stuff to get you really battle hardened for the playoffs. I kind of really love this schedule. I think it works out perfectly for the situation that we're in.
Yeah, and I think I had us going 12-5. There's so many games on here that could go either way. Like you don't know about the Colts game. You don't know about the Niners game. You don't know about the Chargers game.
At once. Does that give you any sort of pause?
You were muted for half of that, but I'm going to guess that half of that was something about Tom Brady, which I don't know.
I don't know why. I don't know why I said it. I was muted. I unmuted myself. I was just wondering if you had any hesitations with calling it an easy and favorable schedule with all the time zones the Broncos are going to be jumping through.
Not really.
We rank like right in the middle of strength of schedule, right?
Yes, with strength to schedule.
Yeah, slightly over the halfway line, I believe. As far as the traveling, not really. I have more faith in the roster than I am worried about the travel time, especially when it's kind of like a lot of that travel time is made up with the whole London game and everything. And I just am more confident in the strength of our roster, and especially with a player like Mr. Russell Wilson throwing the ball around. I think I am pretty confident in that opening stretch.
I might actually use like the traveling of different time zones more as an excuse. Once the moment actually starts to happen, like if we end up on a losing streak, I'll put that in the back of my mind that says like, to use it as an excuse if there's a losing streak.
Yeah.
But I like right now, I don't see it as an issue except for maybe the London game, because you have no idea what to expect in a London game, and it's one of the reasons why I kind of called the London game against Jacksonville. And I know it's Jacksonville, but I mean kind of like a trap game because it's the new era. It's a new area. It's a neutral area, so you kind of have no idea what you're kind of getting into there. But no, I think it just depends on, and I don't think there's a right or wrong answer as far as how you interpret the schedule currently where we sit right now, because it's like because with the way that the end of the schedule operates, I mean, depending on where the Broncos are with, if they're a fine, tuned machine offensively, like they might go into a lot of those games playing quite well. So I don't know. It certainly just depends on where things sit team wise.
Yeah. And was there an Amazon Prime game last year, or is this the first year on Prime?
No, there's been Amazon Prime games before. I think it's only been on Thursday nights, but I think the new deal was exclusively on Amazon Prime after like the third week or something like that.
And this would be the Thursday night game, I believe, for that Prime game, and so that would be, but not for the Broncos. The Broncos have never had an Amazon Prime.
Yeah, the Broncos haven't.
Well, and I know that Denver plays on Christmas Day. They play the Rams. And I'm wondering that's a CBS Nickelodeon game. When are they actually going to slime players
in person?
Like in the end zone, just slime everywhere, make them go change, and then come back out.
Hopefully after the game.
I feel like that would be excessive celebration.
Well, what do you flag on that one, though?
They're just the refs are trying to pick up the ball afterwards and just flipping all over the place.
You see, like
I feel like that would be a lot of fun
last year. That would have been great.
That'd be great.
I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. Broncos Bill wants to know what our opinion on Lindsey going to the Colts.
I'm absolutely thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled for Philip Lindsay. I know we will get to see them. I'm actually wondering if the Broncos have done enough to kind of solidify the run defense and whether or not that could come back to kind of bite the Broncos a little bit. Just seeing how I don't want to say poorly, but it was not well against a couple of teams last season where we gave up a lot of rushing yards. So I could potentially see that going in Phil's favor. I know he's got a lot to prove. Love the kid. I absolutely am thrilled for him that he got picked up, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do.
Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting game against the Colts if Lindsey's on the roster, and that with that offensive line, I'm sure he's gonna break a few loose, and Twitter is going to be on fire.
Yeah.
And that's a Thursday night game. So that is going to be, again, one of those primetime opportunities that we have. Home crowd, the place is going to go berserk. And then if the Colorado kid breaks one after we let him go, that's going to be that would be an interesting dichotomy for sure.
Well, and depending on the actual, way things are shaping up at that point in the schedule, Lindsey might actually end up being an X factor of that game. Like, someone that, the Broncos might have to stop at that point. I like the fit with Indianapolis. You got Nyheim Hines, who's probably more of your receiving back. And then you got Philip Lindsay, who can, potentially be your backup, behind Jonathan, Taylor. And, if things certainly work out with that Indy offense and with the running back room, that's a pretty solid running back room with Philip Lindsay and Nyheim Hines and of course, maybe the best running back in all of football, Jonathan Taylor. So I think it works quite well, except for the fact that they loaded up their running back room, but they still have yet to kind of load up their wide receiver room yet still.
Do they even have one? I know they have a wide receiver, but like basically all the all-stars they had on the team last year are gone.
No, they got a wide receiver. Michael Pittman's there.
Oh, Pittman's still there. Okay.
Do you have the Broncos going into that game 4-0, and do you see them leaving 5-0? Okay.
I think there's a possibility, yes, that can happen. Yes.
I think I had them through. Wait, going 4-0 into who?
Into Colts.
No, I think I had them losing to the Niners.
Okay.
So they'd be going in 3-1.
You a big Jimmy G fan?
Not at all. One, I still think it's gonna be Trey Lance, but I don't know, just like the way that the 49ers closed out the season last year, I kind of see them picking up where they left off, and that's going to be one of those games early enough in the season where the Broncos haven't quite figured out what they are on offense yet, and so the Niners are going to be able to take that one. That's just how I see that game.
No props to the defense then. You think it's going to be offensively heavy?
It's going to be a defensive battle. I just don't think that our offense is going to have it figured out yet.
So here's a little bit of a tidbit for you, Mundungus. Russell Wilson in his career against the San Francisco 49ers is 16-4.
Suck it, Dungus.
So I mean, if he loses, he's still got to. So if he loses, he's still got a winning record against them. But if he wins, he continues to just own the San Francisco 49ers like he always did in the NFC West.
Well, that's the same thing with the Chiefs, though, or with Mahomes, though, isn't it? Like Russell Wilson's never lost to Patrick Mahomes, but it's like 4 games.
So,
yeah.
Well, I mean, is Deebo Samuel going to hold out too? I mean, I see us going. I see us entering that Thursday night game at 4-0. I mean, that's a Monday night game, Mike. For I believe the Niners is Monday, right? So it's no, it's Sunday night. That's a Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Is it at home, and you expect them to lose? I mean, I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
I had the Broncos going 50% on home wins versus losses.
Wow, super fan.
Interesting.
Shut up, Clay.
Well, I want to know: do you have them dropping any of the divisional or the AFC West games at home?
I had them sweeping the Raiders and the Chargers, but I had them losing one to the Chiefs. I'm kind of thinking I should switch that and have them sweep the Chiefs and lose one to the Chargers.
I think they're going to sweep the Raiders and they're going to go 1-1 with the others.
Yeah, I think I got them with 2 losses going into the bye, and that is it's like a flip between. It's going to be the Chargers, and then Colts and Raiders. I think are going to be interesting games. I think those ones are going to be closer than we want to think.
Well, I was going to say, so let me pose this. Obviously, we know where Mundungus stands, but if the Broncos were to, not go undefeated going into that Indianapolis Colts game, what game do you guys feel that they could lose going up into that game?
I have them losing the Colts and the Chargers game, but I only chose them losing the Colts game because I think it's almost too orange-colored glasses to say that they could be 5-0 by that game.
But I meant like between like the 4 games going into Indianapolis. What game? Because we're talking about.
I have them winning them all.
Okay, so going undefeated.
Yeah.
But if there's a game that you think they could lose, what would it be?
Vegas, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the Niners are interesting. I mean, you still got Kyle Shanahan there, and I never take him out of it. Their defense is still going to look pretty good, even though they're secondary. I don't think they have a ton going on there, and they're off. And Trey Lance, you don't know what you're going to do. Someone posted the other day who's going to have the best second-year season at quarterback, and as much as I wanted to say Trey Lance, that division is tough. Plus, they're playing the AFC West this year. But I do think Trey Lance really has something to be special. It's just. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully we won't be at the tail end of that, or the other end of that when things click for him. You never want to be that team.
Big E Broncos says, I don't think the Broncos lose back-to-back games this year.
That means that they would have to beat the Rams in Kansas City at Kansas City.
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be that'd be cool
Not
though.
saying it's impossible. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy. And actually, I might sound a little bit crazy here, but I have the Broncos going undefeated up against up until Indianapolis. But I will say, I think if there's one game that the Broncos could lose, it's the first game of the season. I really. Yeah. No. I know that's
going to tear it up.
No, I'm not. I know that sounds crazy, but it's just like, if there's one game with all the emotions riding high the first week of the season, and that game, that's the game that could happen, in my opinion. But it won't happen.
I do agree.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I do agree that the first game of the season is almost a wash at like all the time, just because it's like, so there's going to be like 3 or 4 games that week that are just going to be like, what? Oh, what does this mean? It's like, didn't the Steelers like dominate the Bills the first week last year, and everybody was like, what? Maybe it might happen. Do I think so? No. I don't think the Seahawks have anything, dude. That roster is so bad.
That's
and
fair.
The coaching is going to be so suspect with Russ gone, and it's going to just be wide open. It's just
I went to go run to grab my Drew Lock jersey just for the memes, so I could put it on camera. But I wouldn't have made it in time. It would have looked awkward. But what a redemption period would that be if Drew Lock somehow just delivers karmatic justice to Broncos country in the home opener? Everyone is so excited, and the 12s just stomp all over us. I mean, do we think Drew Lock is starting over Geno Smith?
Actually, I don't think so.
Yes.
Actually, I actually don't think so. But you know, I'll tell you, I'm going to be at that game, and if that happens, there will be drinks that night. Let's just say that there will be plenty of drinks.
So,
my gosh,
Boggins, I'll Venmo you $10 for
thanks. Thank you so much.
But yeah, so full clarification. I'm not saying that they will lose, because I see in the comments. I'm not saying that they will lose. I'm just saying that if that's the one game I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Hold on. Bill says rumors have it we could target Nick Foles as backup. Backup to Wilson. Would you want him to be the Broncos' backup QB?
No.
Well, they have such a similar playing style, so you'd be able to the offense. So
they look similar too. So maybe that's the thing.
That's
that's not a
choice.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, no. Probably not.
No.
I mean, I think Johnson's pretty trustworthy for putting him in that backup role. Perhaps, I guess, if we were in a win, that seems. I want to know where the rumors are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I never asked Bill, because then he just
in that case, it would actually be a Josh Johnson and Nick Foles swap, and and so I mean, I don't know, and plus Josh Johnson's been a backup for like what 10 years.
I think longer
I
than
think
that.
like 35 probably.
He's
35 years, or he's 35.
He's the strongest case you can make for a what's the word I'm looking
journeyman?
for? Someone
Journeyman.
Yeah, for a journeyman, but like someone very reliable in that position that you would want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I hope it doesn't come to that, but
yeah. Well, one other big thing that we've had going on this week, we have had Rookie Minicamp. Have we heard anything coming out of Rookie Minicamp other than Greg Dulcich is absolutely amazing?
I've
heard that everywhere.
I've heard a lot more of like he's amazing looking with his shorts like that and his hair. That's all I keep hearing about. I hope he can play football though. That's good. That's what I'm hoping. But he does look great. So
I'm convinced he uses the curly girl method. His locks are incredible. So I'll have to ask him about that if we ever get the opportunity. I'm sure he'll never get tired of the questions either.
Another thing I would say is, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity to talk to him about it today, but Washington talked about how fearless he is as far as, taking punts and, and returning punts. And, you need that. You need that type of fearlessness and being a power returner, kickoff returner. And so I'm hoping we can have the opportunity to talk to him about that. But that is someone that, the Broncos have desperately needed, maybe even since Trenton Holiday. And, if Trenton Holiday doesn't have all those fumble problems, he might have a different history. So maybe in another multiverse, Trenton Holiday's on a member of the Denver Broncos.
Well, y'all were giving Spence such a hard time for a couple of months. Holiday was doing it every other ball. So I don't know if that's fair there. I am going to miss Deontay Spencer. So I hope that he is well.
The only thing I hear about Trenton Holiday nowadays is just every time Pat McAfee has to mention that he just laid someone out.
Laid up.
He doesn't mention that the dude was 5'5", $170, soaking wet.
I also know a guy that confused him for. Never mind. I'm not going to.
We're not going back there.
No instant callback.
No, but I was going to say, like, if you look at the last year of, and I was going to say this when we brought him in. If you look at Montrell's last year at Samford, he has 742 kick return yards and 265 punt return yards and almost 2,000 yards of all-purpose yards his last season. So I'm very excited to see what he can do not only on special teams, but as a wide receiver on the team. I'm assuming he's going to be more like a KJ Hamler replacement, or are we looking at like slot guy?
No, he's. I mean, if you're going to be penciling in a day one starter right now off the entire draft class, Montrell Washington would be my pick, just because of his ability on punt returning and kickoff returning. He does not replace KJ Hamler. Not saying that KJ Hamler can't do that, but KJ Hamler offers way more explosiveness on the offensive side of the ball than Montrell. Even though I think Montrell.
No, I mean like backing up KJ. Would he be KJ's backup? Like in where he plays, or is he more like a slot?
I think he would. I think he and Hamler would find some, gadget plays and stuff like that to kind of, get worked into the offense a little bit, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So real quick, it looks like he's circling. We had talked about Philip Lindsay going to the Colts, and I wanted to ask, is this the year that we see Mike Boone breakout as a running back? I mean, I know he had a couple good games that one year, backing up there in Minnesota. But is this the year that we're going to see him kind of find his role and what he's going to do in the Broncos offense?
I mean, quite possibly. I think a lot of it might have to do with any sort of an injury situation. You'd have to think that when Melvin re-signed that he's going to be RB2, and that makes Boone number 3. So unless something changes, that would be shocking to me. I kind of see him as the third stringer, and so maybe he's going to contribute some on special teams and step in the unfortunate case of a running back injury.
Okay.
Yeah, I think with bringing back Flash, that's just kind of what you're left with. If there's some rotational pieces needed there, God forbid there's an injury suffered. But other than that, I think your hopes are is that he does step up enough to where he could just step in and take off. But I don't know if I'm counting on that to be the case this season.
No, we keep looking at anytime we look at the Broncos, I look at them as like they're the greatest team ever. There's no one that could ever beat them. But when you look at it realistically, do the Broncos have the best roster in the AFC West?
Do they have the best all-around roster?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think the Chargers, unfortunately, probably have the best all-around roster. Yeah, and then the Broncos. I think the Chiefs are pretty close just because of their draft was so well, but I mean that's kind of a flip of a coin. You never quite know, but yeah, I'd say we're close, but the Chargers probably have the best overall because they really unloaded on their in their draft and in free agency.
I'd say it's close, but I'm with Boggins. Yeah, it's between the Chargers and the Broncos, but I do think it's still fairly close between both of them. But And I mean, if you want to put your orange colored glasses on and, you know, pick the Broncos that have the deepest, roster in the division, I wouldn't, you know, be against it at all, because it's like, you know, there are arguments across the board for why the Broncos do have the deepest.
I think you're right, Cam. I think the depth piece there is really important to note. And I think that you can interchange all of them except for the redheaded stepchild and the Raiders, because I really don't think they did enough in the offseason. But I think the Broncos, the Chiefs, and the Chargers all bring something very special. They made a lot of moves. A lot of them were substantial and are going to reflect a lot in this upcoming season. But I do think the Chargers can kind of outpace the Broncos, only because I don't know how or what Russell Wilson is really going to do for the Broncos, although we know he exponentially raises that ceiling. So it'll be interesting to see.
Don't the Chargers do that every year, though? Like, go out and spend big in free agency and then just crash halfway through the season?
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. The Chargers have been good on paper the last couple of years.
Forever.
And they're still, no, I don't know about that. Well, maybe quite a long time. They're always a threat, and they're always someone you got to watch out for, but I still think they have the best.
I will say, though, for some reason, it's not a Herbert issue. It's a Chargers issue. For some reason, the Chargers have all the makings to be a really, really good football team. And for some reason, ever since, you know, Rivers has been there, you know, and Herbert's, you know, now the quarterback there, for some reason, the Chargers just can't seem to get over the hump. And I can't put my finger on it. I don't know why, but it was just like, so, you know, we can give them all the publicity that, you know, we want and everything, but for some reason they just can't seem to get over maybe that mental hump as far as, you know, getting to the playoffs.
And Cam, that's been happening since Dan Fouts, like, you know, where the expectations, I mean, they were one of the most dynamic offenses in the late 70s, early 80s. And they've been to one Super Bowl. I think Stan Humphries was the quarterback at that time, if I remember correctly. It's so, you know, that being said, you know, history doesn't always repeat itself, but, you know, they're a formidable team, but they do seem to have the bad juju that happens at times for them. And I can't quite understand it, but
yeah.
Well, they're the ones that got Khalil Mack, right? The Chargers.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, you got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, who are hurt and Khalil Mack had to drop off these last 3 seasons, but Joey Bosa's hurt all the time.
Yeah, I don't think we have any room to talk about injured edge rushers.
True, but they did get Bryce Callahan, which sucks, but he gets hurt all the time too. So,
but when he's not hurt, he's incredibly efficient.
Yeah, they have him for 11 games, and if 2 of those games are against us, it's not going to be good.
No,
it's not something we want. So,
and it's familiar system.
What do we know about the who was that? The free agent? Never mind. I'm not even going to say it because Montrell just jumped in. So I'm
all right. Let's go.
All right. So, in his final year with the Sanford Bulldogs, he finished with 820 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns, 140 rushing yards, and 6 touchdowns, 742 kick return yards, and 265 punt return yards, and 1,967 all-purpose yards. He was selected in the 5th round of the 2022 NFL Draft by the Denver Broncos. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our honor to welcome to the show Montrell Washington.
Thank y'all for having
me. Let's go.
Thank y'all for having me.
No problem, man.
I appreciate you jumping on, man.
So excited.
Yes,
so listen, I wanted to start this off with a pretty simple question. You get drafted by the Broncos.
Right.
Then you got to fly out to Denver. Yes. What are you doing in between?
Working out and staying focused and getting ready to make the most of this opportunity, to be honest with you. You only get one opportunity like this, especially to play with somebody like Russ. Come on, you can't mess this up. So
kid in the candy store.
Literally. I can't stop smiling. Like it's crazy.
Yo, man, being the first receiver drafted out of Sanford, the real question is, when you get in that statue?
I hope so. If I can get that, then that means I'm doing something right. So hopefully one day I can get that.
So Montrell, I talked to one of your coaches yesterday. I called Ricky Turner, the assistant head coach and the offensive coordinator. And if you don't mind indulging me for a minute, he said the Broncos are getting a dude that loves football. He lives and loves the game. Montrell is likable as a person. I love the guy. He's a joy to be around. He's like that in life, in the office, in the meeting room. Montrell is a great person who works hard, will handle any role given with the greatest effort. And then Louis Freeman, who's the director of football ops, said they have a good one over there in Denver, going to give Devin Hester a run for his money as the best return man in NFL history. Wow. So hearing those words, what does it mean to you to realize the impact you had on your college on the field and off?
I have no words. I can just really say thank you to those guys. I mean, for me, for them to even say that about me, like it's wild. Like I mean, one thing that we always talked about in school was being like the ultimate teammate and being there for the team and everything is about the team. And for coach to say words like that, and then Lewis, a former teammate of mine that's now there working, like those aren't even the guys I was actually playing with during this past season. And for them to say that is just like I really have no words for that. Like that's crazy. Like that's wild. Trying to make me cry or something. So, like, that's it's an honor. It's just an honor. I'm blessed.
Yeah. Talking about emotions, can you let me know what it felt initially when you got that call from the Denver Broncos, and then what you thought about coming here to Colorado and becoming a member of Broncos country?
Yes. So when I got the call, I mean, it's like a dream come true. You know what I mean? Like I was on the phone with the coaches and I'm just literally like scratching my head the whole time. My family's screaming. I didn't know whether to scream, whether to cry. It was just like you dream of moments like this, and for it to actually happen, it was crazy. Like it was wild. And then now that I'm like, for me to be coming here to the Broncos and being a Bronco, like I said, you got guys Judy, KJ, Russ. You know what I mean? You got goats over here in my eyes, like you know what I mean. Like those guys are like those guys. I've watched them on TV multiple times. It's wild. I just have no words. I'm just blessed, literally just blessed.
So I got to ask you, Montrell. You mentioned Judy, you mentioned KJ, other people in that wide receiver room. You obviously just had the rookie part of the rookie minicamp, of course. What's been the first thing that you've been able to work on to kind of get to that level?
Really, it's just I would have to say learning these plays. To be honest with you, learning the playbook, because the offensive playbook in the NFL is completely different from an offensive playbook that we had at Sanford, and so. Just for me to sit back and learn the footwork, just get my depth on route, just learning from those guys. I observe everything they do. I literally watch their feet on everything they do, whatever they do. I try to watch. I try to mimic, even when they're not looking. I'll try to kind of go to the side maybe, or even in my room, like I'll do things that I've seen them do at practice. I'll try to do it in the mirror myself. Like it's
right.
Just to be able to learn from guys like that, and it's a blessing. I'm telling you, it's just I can't believe it, to be honest. I still cannot believe that I'm in this position to even be here, but I'm definitely gonna make the most of it for sure.
You've earned it, man. You've earned it.
Thank you.
So Avatar wants to know what you think of the city of Denver since you've been there.
To be honest with you, I have not been anywhere. I've been completely locked in. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have not been anywhere. I don't want to go anywhere other than the facility and back to my room to study, because I feel like the faster I can learn the playbook and the faster I can get comfortable in the offense and things like that, the faster I can be a help to the team and contribute to the team and do everything I need to do for the team. You know what I mean? So I'm just strictly locked in, and I'm just hungry and ready to just continue work, and I'm just ready to play. I'm just ready to play and help the team out. But eventually I will go out for sure soon once everything dies down and I get comfortable.
Man, if you're excited now, I can't wait till your first touchdown, man. Your first touchdown in the NFL, man. Shoot, what do you think your celebration is going to be? And I'll tell you right now, I'll give you a little inside info. If you happen to look up the Mile High Salute, there's a quick way to get a whole entire stadium on your side.
To be honest with you, I don't even like. I'm gonna celebrate with my guys. To be honest with you, I'm gonna celebrate with them for sure. And whatever happens then just happens. I don't even know. Like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be so happy. That might be the moment I actually start to cry. Like, I don't know. Like,
You hold on to that ball, though, man. You hold on to that ball.
100%. High and tight. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Montrell, I dressed accordingly. I wanted to bring you back to a happy place, right? So like much has been made about that Florida game at the Swamp. And Coach Turner said you were so dialed in that day that he remembers greeting you. You don't remember him greeting you after you scored that return touchdown. And the student section at UF runs the entire length of the visitors' sideline. You guys put up 42 points on Florida. What was that like? What was the environment like on the sideline when you guys were putting up points and you were almost like a human video game that day?
I mean, it went from, kind of you suck, you guys are good, to, oh my goodness, you need to come to Florida. Oh, who are you? Or, you know what I mean? Those kind of things. And I wasn't worried about any of that. I was just locked in and just was trying to do whatever I could do to help our team win, to be honest with you. But yeah, it was a lot of trash talk, definitely from the student section. But like, just for me to be there and play in front of that many people with my guys, like it's a dream come true. Like, you know what I mean? Like FCS, we kind of don't get that many guys or that many people at our game. So for us to go out there, and actually I was kind of a Florida fan, like growing up. So like, cross that off the bucket list to actually play in the Swamp. Like, it was just a dream come true, literally. Like it was, never forget it. Never forget it.
Yeah, for sure. A lot with that comes your fearlessness as well. And you talked about how you're fearless as a punt returner and maybe even a kickoff returner as well. Where does that come from? Is it, from your upbringing? Like, where does that come from?
I mean, I'm a little guy, so you know what I mean? In football, it's a lot of big dudes. So if you're scared to play, you're scared to get hit, this might not be the sport for you. So, and also, I guess, growing up, I mean, I always played outside with my older cousins, or I always tried to play with older guys. And if they were playing football, I was always the smallest one out there playing. So that kind of just, I don't know, it just grew on me. And I always kind of kept that chip on my shoulder that I was always smaller than everybody, but I felt that I can always ball with the best of them. So it's just, I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I absolutely believe that you're fearless on the field, but I need to know whether or not you have any fears off the field. And I'm talking spiders, snakes, heights.
Let's see. I don't like heights. I'll tell you that. I do not like heights at all. And I don't. Yes, actually, roller coasters. Number one. I don't like roller coasters. I will not get on a roller coaster. No, sir.
Not even like the indoor ones?
No, sir. No, sir.
There goes the images endorsement.
Don't tell the guys that for sure.
I want to know, have you raced KJ yet?
No, I have not.
You're getting on that though, real quick, right?
KJ is definitely fast. We don't need a race. I know he's fast for sure. I'm glad we're on teams for sure.
Yeah.
So Montrell, what is it like returning a punt? And walk us through what you do the moment the ball leaves the punter's foot.
To be honest with you, it's in my mind once the ball is kicked. So it's this game we play like growing up, and it's like, so somebody will be on the other end, they'll throw the ball up in the air, and then you'll have to catch it. And then once you catch it, like everyone has to come try to tackle you. So when I'm back there in punt return, that's literally what comes to my mind. I'm backyard football. Like we're playing a game back there. So once I catch it, I just know I gotta go score. Like, and also I got guys blocking for me now. So if I scored, we all scored. So that's a plus. You know what I mean? So I try to visualize it as a video game, or just like, backyard football, like, as I was a kid. It's just football, and it's, ball in the air, let's go score. So
Kill the carrier.
Really, yes. So you heard of the game. Yes. Yes.
Ball's up in the air, you catch it, you get out a quick scream, and then you take off and hope they don't get you.
Exactly.
Travis Dean in the comments says you were the biggest sleeper in the draft. And I got to say, like, honestly, looking at the Denver Broncos and how they have struggled on special teams and at times at wide receiver, I am ecstatic to see what you can do back there.
Thank you. I'm excited as well. I can't wait. Hopefully I can help the team out on special teams if that's what my role is. But whatever the team need me to do, I will do it 100% and 1,000 miles per hour for sure.
So I got to circle back a little bit to what Bree was talking about, how your fears, spiders, whatever. But, one of your favorite hobbies is fishing. And we all know Colorado is one of those key places to go fish. So I'm sure you're dying for that moment for things to die down and catch those nice fishing spots.
Yes. I cannot wait to go fishing up here. That is definitely that. To be honest with you, that's kind of the first thing I want to do once I actually get out and I'm able to do things. I want to learn how to fly fish so bad. Like that is, I want to learn how to fly fish so bad. So for sure, hopefully I get to cross that off the list and get to experience that when the time comes, for sure.
Yeah.
Montrell, can you talk to me about how it felt slipping on that number 12 jersey for the first time? And how does it make you feel switching numbers? And what do you hope to bring that at number 12 to where you're, famous in Broncos history?
It's an honor, to be honest with you, to wear anything Broncos, but it doesn't matter the jersey, anything, just to put on that orange, like it. I know I keep saying this, but I literally could have cried like once I put it like right before it's crazy, you know what I mean? So just to be able to be a part of this organization right now and being able to wear that jersey and have on that number 12, I'm just loving everything about this moment and everything that's going on, and hopefully we can, things do turn out right with that jersey and I can make it a big number or whatever happens, but I'm just honored. I'm honored.
Shadow Jacker in the comments says that getting to the NFL was a huge hurdle. What's next? What's your next big hurdle? What's your first big goal that you're aiming for?
To contribute to the team, and that's literally my next goal, is to do something for the team, and hopefully I can do that on special team, do that on offense, or kick off with it. Whatever the team needs, just doing something for the team to help us win. That's definitely my next big goal, for sure, 100%.
Work on a touchdown dance.
And I'll figure that out as well. I'll figure that out for sure.
95-yard jet sweep to the house.
I hope so.
So, can you talk to us about Coach Stukes? Because I am addicted to his press conferences. I think that guy is just, I don't know if you've heard where we've been in special teams as far as coordinators go in recent years, and it is not Coach Stukes. So he is a breath of fresh air, and then he brings you in. Tell us about that special teams unit as they described to you.
As of right now, Coach Stukes, like I said, what he brings to the meetings, and it's just hard not to like him. The intensity he brings to the meetings is something that's the kind of coach you want to play for. That's the kind of coach you want to do good things. Like it's so crazy to say it, but like in meetings, he makes me want to just all right, I got if I do get my opportunity, I have to do something for him to make him happy, or I have to do something for the team, because he just pumps me up so much, and I just can't wait. I literally cannot wait to do something for the team, if that means a touchdown or making a tackle or anything. Coach gets me going. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's something. It's just, I don't know. I love everything about him. I love everything what he brings to the table so far, and hopefully we can continue to grow on and get a relationship through the time. And it's just, I'm just honored that I can be there with him and call him one of my coaches right now, to be honest with you.
Broncos country absolutely loves your energy and positivity. Can you tell me what drives your motivation and what brings that energy out of you the most?
Because if you think about it, it's a lot of guys that want to be in this position right now, and for me to be in this position, coming from FCS and coming from Sanford, I feel like it's my job to put on for the guys at small schools, or for me to have this kind of attitude. Because if I was to have a bad attitude, no one likes a guy with a bad attitude. You know what I mean? So just. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's just who I am.
Yeah. Well, maybe a few years down the line, instead of a TB12, they'll be saying an MW12, right?
I hope so.
So Boggins was talking about that 95-yard jet sweep. To circle back with a little bit of some football question, have they talked a bit about maybe your niche a little bit with some of the offense, or has it been solely focused on special teams for you?
To be honest with you, I'm kind of just learning the playbook right now as well. We haven't really talked about things like that. I'm still trying to figure out where I'll fit in, to be honest with you. So hopefully it does come to where I can do jet sweeps and things like that. But right now, I've honestly just been trying to focus on understanding the playbook, understanding what I can do to contribute. And like I said, even if that's on special teams or once I learn the playbook, that's on offense. So I'm just locked in. I'm just locked in, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, Montrell, we are so very excited that you decided to jump on with us today. I know you're a busy guy. You're probably exhausted, been doing a lot of work, putting in a lot of work. We want you to keep putting in the work. And we thank you so much for joining us. We'll go ahead and let you go so you can get back to work, my friend.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
Coach said
Appreciate you.
call.
Welcome.
Coach said
y'all for
call.
having
It's
me,
been a week.
I will. For sure.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Later, bro.
Montrell, thanks.
Oh my God.
That was dude. How can you not be excited
No.
with like the energy you get from him and Wilson and Hackett and Stukes? Come on.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go, run through a brick wall here about, at 6 o'clock, just before I'm about to have dinner.
I
As
am
long as it's a small one, I got to go to work. I can't.
just a small wall.
It's a small one.
I am super excited to root for this kid. His energy is absolutely contagious. And I think he's got such a great head on his shoulders. But the fact that he was even able to share just a couple of moments to give us a glimpse into that, a big fan in me has been born today.
A little inside too. He was literally just leaving the facility and heading back to his room. So like, just to take the time out of his day of just like a huge crazy experience. Like if anybody could even imagine what he's going through right now, and the fact that it's just like right in the middle, he could just hit us up and talk to us a little bit about his day is just like so cool. And he's just so humble, such a good dude. It's just like someone that you really want to root for, and it's always great to have that on your team. It's like kind of like when you hear, it's kind of like when Quinn Miners, before he got drafted, you saw some of his stuff and you saw like the tape of him knocking down trees. You're like, this guy just seems so cool. I just don't see him ever being on my team. Like, what's the chances he's on my team? It's kind of like that, but now he's actually on the team. You get to experience how cool of a person he is. So it's just like an absolute pleasure to have him on our team.
Well, and I know he was drafted in the 5th round, but it feels like an underdog story. Like it feels like that ultimate underdog story, and someone that you absolutely want to root for. And we talked about it, he's got the right attitude, he's got the right makeup, he's got the right mental makeup, he's got the right a way to go about it. As far as when he's walked into that building, he wants to make a good first impression, which is. That should be, a good word of advice for really anybody that goes into a job, right? I mean, you want to make a really good first impression, on the first few days, weeks on the job. So, I mean, he was a breath of fresh air for sure. And boy, what a change for sure with the from this staff to the last one. When you bring on a guy as far as a huge bundle of energy, and Nathaniel Hackett, and the energy that he provides, to Stukes and the energy that he provides, it's he's going to be a fan favorite for sure in many years to come.
I did think that Glenn was almost going to make him cry. So thank you for
I kind of got choked up reading the words.
I know.
To have people say that about you, and it wasn't even about what he did to contribute to the team. It was talking about him in the football office, him in the meeting room, and then when you see it, he doesn't know us.
Yeah,
I mean, how tired do you suppose he is that he's just trying to walk to his car or walk to his room or whatever it is, and he spends his time with us. And I mean, he wasn't in no rush, but we wanted to respect his time. And to second what you were saying, he is going to be a fan favorite. As Broncos country gets to see him in press, I would if I'm the Broncos, I put this guy in front of the camera all the time, because he is going to be cheered and revered. And if he can perform on the field like he did at Samford, we have an absolute steal and have shored up a position that we haven't had in ages.
And not just as a returner too, like, because there's a lot of potential for him. But like, if anybody's watched tape on him, like, dude's got hands too. Yeah. So like, it's just something that you really hope to see him just absolutely blossom, because you love the person so much. And it's not like he doesn't have the talent, because he has insane amount of talent. So if that transfers in the NFL, woo, what a story, man.
Well, and to kind of go off of what Boggins has said, like with imagine how he's feeling right now. Like, he himself said that he didn't expect to be drafted, and then he goes in the 5th round, and now he's sitting there going through rookie minicamp at a legitimate playoff / Super Bowl contender. Like that's a lot to take in. Like he's the kind of guy that you want on your team.
I love how you can just feel it too. How you could just feel his happiness, and it's like you personally haven't experienced any of what he's experiencing, but you're somehow feeling what he's feeling through this. And like, I don't know about anybody else, but my heart was like kind of like going with him when he was talking about it. I was getting excited, just like, oh, it's so cool.
Those are called vibes, man, and they're infectious. And I think what's really important is that got me right in the feels, and I don't have many of those. So thank you for sharing those.
Yeah.
Well, like the way he answered the first question, like I was half expecting him to be like, well, I went and got a ham cheese sandwich and then it was on like apartments.com trying to find a place to live. But no, like he went right into like, I'm so excited. Like I was working out and that was it. Work out and then go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we talked about it, obviously with, his energy and everything, but like, that was one of the few, times where you could have just, there was so much talk during this off season about, you could just feel the new energy within the building. That interview that we just had with Montrell truly felt like you could feel the energy that is happening within that building, just even coming from a draft prospect. And so, I mean, that's kudos to even the scouting department to be able to find those types of guys. So I think it's a huge moment for him, and I'm really happy he's taking it all in.
What an energy shift, man. What an energy shift. What a, like the stuff that we've I mean, I know that we're kind of like a little bit spoiled because we just won the Super Bowl like 6-7 years ago, but at the same time, like it just feels like it was just such a drought for so long, such negativity for so long, and then just like this all of a sudden out of the shadows blossomed. You know what I mean? It's just like feels so good to finally be excited, and then having these new people that you're excited about. It's just really cool to be to be a part of.
Yeah, and with that, and having the probably one of the most exciting episodes we've had, just in that little like 10 to 12 minute interview. Yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and shut her down because we got some people that got other places to be. So we're gonna go ahead and shut her down. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, and turn on notifications so you can catch all of our other content when it's posted. Tune into our other podcasts like the Wild Wild West podcast. Sorry, I had to. Tomorrow at 7:30, 6:30, 5:30, 4:30. The Nothing Rhymes podcast on Thursday at 7:654. And Broncos Breakdown hosted by Bronco Bill on Friday at 2, 1, 12, and 11. That's not as much fun to say as 7:654. So with that, we're going to go ahead and cut it off. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow with the Wild Wild West. Goodbye, everybody.